Judge Mann, do you think he succeeded? Is it less likely now that this kind of accident will happen again?
I think that Gordon succeeded to an unprecedented degree. When he gave evidence at the inquiry, he produced written material which demonstrated this flat light phenomenon. He produced from overseas a man acknowledged as a world expert in the field who confirmed the existence of this illusion and what happens. And this, in turn, set me on the track of overseas inquiries which are made in the United States, in Canada, and in England from top-class experts. They all confirmed what I'd been told at the inquiry through Gordon's efforts. And finally I went to Antarctica, and there the thesis was again confirmed, especially when I was taken for a flight myself in whiteout conditions and saw with my own eyes a flat terrain of snow stretching 40 miles, when in fact right in front of us there was a snow ridge several hundred feet high. The ultimate answer, I think, is that I've had numbers of favourable comments from overseas airlines and other aviation experts about the report, but probably the most decisive comment I've received is from an overseas expert in high-speed jet training and jet operations. He said that this report had made the world a safer place to fly in. Well, if that is so, then that is due to the persistence of Gordon's vetting and the evidence which he produced, the material which he produced, which directed me and the counsel assisting the Commission onto the right path.
One of the confusing things to the layman about the Erebus case was that involved in it was a government, one of its departments, and a major state enterprise that's run by government appointees, all of them under scrutiny, all of them with something to say. Did that make it more complex for you?
Well, that type of situation always makes an inquiry complex, where the inquiry is into some disaster or some scandal involving government agencies. And the procedure which has been adopted on so many occasions by some governments in the United Kingdom in particular is to set up such an inquiry and then wait and see what the findings are. If the findings are generally in favour of the government, then it warmly supports the report which has been submitted to the Crown. If, on the other hand, the findings implicate in any material manner some government agencies, then the tendency is for the government of the day to reject the report and say, well, it's wrong. That does not happen in Australia, of course, but I'm afraid that in England and in New Zealand, such an approach is in accordance with the hallowed traditions of the Westminster style of government.
So anybody entering the process of something like the inquiry into the Erebus case in the future will have to be aware that they're dealing as much with politics as they are with the law.
This whole inquiry was overshadowed by politics from start to finish, and I include the Privy Council hearing in that wide ambit. I was well aware that the findings I proposed to make, actually they're not findings, they're opinions, but still we won't bother about that, that they would be ill received by the government. I was well aware of that. And I knew before I published my report that I'd be attacked by the government. I should always remember hearing on the radio the day after the report was published a conversation between an Australian radio station and the then Prime Minister, Mr. Muldoon, as he then was. And there was an exchange which caused great amusement in our household. The Australian commentator said, he said, Prime Minister, he said, you've attacked this Royal Commissioner. He said, but we understood that when he was appointed that he was a distinguished judge. To which Mr. Muldoon replied, that is what we thought at the time. And as I say, this occasioned great merriment in our household and among my various friends.
Is there, just following on the point you've made about politics and about the kind of leadership that can happen every so often in democracy, is there a way in which, and perhaps it was some solace to you, that the eventual court is public opinion, and that when people sense that injustice has been done and the truth has not been found, they know and they show it?
Oh yes, the public has always been in my corner and still is. They're not interested really in court cases. They saw what happened and their views I rather fancy are final.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. 257 lives have been wasted. What must we learn? 2 programming errors occurred: misprogramming of the navigation computer and misprogramming of the crew. The responsibility and research for establishing mental and computer sets is the first link in the chain, and this is where this chain failed. This crew loop worked perfectly, but produced the wrong result because it was misprogrammed. Therefore, proper and informed research into operation specifications is vital. We must ensure the rapid transfer of information between universities and the aviation industry. Besides managerial procedures being improved, the pilot training syllabus should be revised to include study in the psychology of perception and, most importantly, how the pilot interfaces between the environment and the machine. The true cause of accidents must always be exposed. Finally, we must promote flight safety research. The proceeds from the book Impact Erebus are being used to endow a Flight Safety Research Fund, funding graduate and postgraduate students and subcommittees in universities throughout the world. From these, a forward-looking ground proximity device and a monitor for inertial navigation computer coordinates have emerged, with patents pending. These would have prevented this accident and many others. As a result of the Erebus disaster, both Air New Zealand and New Zealand's Department of Civil Aviation have been subject to a most severe audit in every sense of the word. And under new techniques and management, they've emerged much stronger.
"20 years after the Erebus crash, it's been very pleasing to have my hypothesis as to the true cause of the accident vindicated with the acceptance of the Erebus report into the New Zealand Parliament. For me, this has been a long road. Parts of the aviation industry continue to prefer simplistic solutions like pilot error, but I've been heartened by the way most experts worldwide have embraced my systemic error theory and the need to study flight safety enhancement and error-tolerant systems, and I've been proud to contribute to that goal myself.